welcome to the channel. This video is a little bit different to the videos I normally do because what I want to do in this one is just come to you with just something that I've thought of today, and I want to do a quick video on the topic of this. And it's in life, in making decisions, in deciding what we want, in deciding how we move forward, what action we take. And I know on my channel I talk a lot about, how to get clear on your goals, how to move forward, how to let go of people pleasing. I talk about lots and lots of things like that, which I believe are so important. And again, things that I do with my clients on my program, things that I've worked through myself, and they've literally transformed my life. But I just wanted to do a separate video in a sense today about what helps me in those moments. And one of the things that I do, and obviously I love doing the series on this channel, and I like to keep on topic and do a series of videos, but this just came to me today, and it's such a simple thing that I wanted to share with you guys. It's that when I try and decide whether to make a decision and what decision to make and, how to move forward in a sense, one thing that I've learned is at the absolute forefront of my mind, my question to myself every single day and in whatever I do is, how do I want to show up? What do I want people to remember about me? How do I want them to remember me? How do I want to really show up in the world? And what would I love for someone to think about me? Now, I know I talk about letting go of people pleasing, and we shouldn't think about what people think about us. But the reason why this is really powerful for me is especially if you've come from a background where, people pleasing and others' opinions of you are so important. This kind of is a way of tricking myself into not completely not caring about what people think, but deciding what I want people to think. So it's kind of an interesting trick that I perform on myself. And it's literally saying, what do I want people to think about me? Which actually, fine, I'm still going to care about what they think, but I'm going to choose what they think. And the reason why that works is because I'm no longer going by what they think. I'm actually asking myself, what do I want them to think? But the trick here is that I'm asking myself, what do I want to think? And how do I want to see myself? And in answering what action should I take or how should I handle this, I'm literally in a weird and wonderful way asking myself, what do I want to think about myself as a result of this action? And what that does for me, and I hope it's not getting really confusing for anybody out here, because it's kind of a really long-winded way of basically taking control of how you show up. But if you're struggling to kind of let go of people pleasing, if you still really care about what people think, I feel like what's easier for me is not fighting against what I already do. My lights just died. I'm not fighting against, what I've always done in a sense, but I'm reframing it and I'm actually using it in a smarter way. Because sometimes what I've learned in my experience and what I learned from clients and from, the people in my life is that sometimes when you're trying to make a change in your life and you're like, oh my God, I'm such a people pleaser. Why do I care so much about things? That energy and this kind of way of dealing with it is actually even worse, because now you're punishing yourself. Now you're going against yourself. Now you become your own enemy and you're punishing yourself even more. And that makes you even more low vibration. So when I just say to myself, okay, look, I do care about what people think. I deeply care about not hurting people. I deeply care about doing the right thing in life. I deeply care about serving others and, not being reckless and whatever it may be. And this, I'm using my own example, but it could be anything that you're struggling with in your life. I don't know. It could be maybe you want to make money, but you feel like you don't want to make it unethically, or maybe you want to continue to be a good person, but you really want to make money. What you can do with this information is instead of punishing yourself or like beating down on yourself, you can use it in a way that's like, okay, so I want to make money and I may be afraid that I might do it in an unethical way. I'm just using this as an example. So my example is, okay, I deeply care about what people think, and sometimes it can get in the way of me moving forward with my own thing because I let that kind of their opinions and the world's influence and kind of question my own forward movement. But what I've done in this sense is I've said, okay, so I accept that about myself. I recognize that that's something I do. So how can I reframe this ability and this already existing thing that I do? How can I turn that into something that's helpful? So now I'm accepting of myself. I'm not fighting with something I already do, but now I'm just using it in such a way that it's actually going to help me moving forward, and it's going to help me do that in a more accepting way, in a more comfortable way, shall I say. The message that I'm trying to say here is sometimes our problems, can be our biggest strengths, or like what we consider our weaknesses, or the things that we maybe think we're doing wrong, can be our biggest strengths if we learn how to utilize them wisely and smartly. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I feel like I meet a lot of people that when they realize that they do something, so let's say you self-sabotage through something like people pleasing or whatever it may be, our instinct is to always go, I hate that I do this thing. Why do I always do this thing? Now that creates low vibration, low energy, kind of defensive energy, and that has an impact on everything else. So a better way of doing it is, okay, I do this thing, okay, but how can I turn that into a positive? So the thing that I do ticks a lot of boxes in that sense, because I'm showing kindness to myself. I'm actually showing acceptance of myself, and I'm learning how can I reframe that and how can I actually use that to my advantage. So with the people pleasing thing, so with the thing that I'm talking about, when I wake up in the morning or when I come to a difficult decision, I ask myself, okay, how can I, what do I want people to see me as? In turn, asking myself, what do I want myself to see me as? So then the decision I make, I'm holding myself to this higher standard, to what I've decided, I want to be remembered by. This is who I want to be. This is how I want to live my life. And then as a result of that, I'm going to align my forward movements, my decisions, my choices. I'm going to align them with the person that I'm aiming to be. I hope this makes sense, because to give you an example, it's not going to be a real example, but just an example in general. Let's say you have scheduled a meeting with someone, with a client, let's say. And it's the first time you're doing that. And all of a sudden you've got these fears and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. It's a first meeting with a client. Do I have what it takes to do this appointment? What if I mess it up? What if they ask me really awkward questions? And all of these kind of imposter syndrome things is what it's called. These fears, these insecurities, these quick things come up in your mind, which anybody, if you don't realize that's what's happening, it's easy for you to go, do you know what? I'm going to cancel it. I'm just going to cancel it and I'm going to move it to next week. I'll just say that I'm not well. I'll just postpone it. I'll practice a little bit more and I'll feel more ready for the next time for when I reschedule it. That's an easy thing for us to do. And I think if that voice, if that little devil on your shoulder is strong enough, it will convince you to cancel the thing, to postpone the thing, to not do the scary thing. Now, for me, for example, with that scenario, I might think to myself, wait, what do I want to be? What do I want to show up as? What do I want people to think of me? What do I want myself to think of me? That I keep my commitments, that I show up, that I am not easily put off doing difficult things, that I'm reliable, that I'm consistent. That's what I want people to see me as. And that's what I find important to myself. So basically, I'm asking myself, what do I want people to see me as? But actually, I'm asking myself, what is important to me? And then I ask myself, if I cancel, if I postpone the thing, am I showing up as who I want to be? Or am I giving in to fear and like insecurity? And will I feel good as a result of postponing? Is that going to solve the problem? Now, chances are if I postpone, I'll feel again the same thing, and I'm not really overcoming that fear, or that, you know, I'm not moving forward. So if you actually are facing a difficult decision, if you feel yourself getting scared, you know, that anxiety is creeping up, this is an exercise that I do quite a lot with myself, because I feel like you may not face it in the things that I face it in, but we all have levels to which, you know, we're moving forward in our lives. And often, like, if you're trying to do something big, if you're trying to, I don't know, things like starting a business, you know, going out there and dating again, or learning a new skill, there will always be these micro moments where there'll be this little devil on your shoulder saying, you can't do this. It's too much. What are you doing? Like, you've bitten off more than you can chew. Those moments happen, and everybody's got their different scenarios and their different moments in life where this happens. But this small exercise is something that always kind of gets my logical brain coming into the picture, and my emotional brain, and my kind of like fear-based brain. So, you know, I love the book, The Chimp Paradox, and it talks about your logical brain and your chimp brain and stuff like that. And that's where I actually learned this skill. But I pull my logical brain down, and I'm like, wait, how do I want to be seen? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be remembered? And then I'll align the next action with that, even if it's scary, even if it's kind of a little bit frightening. So I wanted to share this with you guys, because I do this every day, and I don't think I've really shared it with anybody before, but for me, it makes a huge, huge, huge difference. I will caveat this, that before you can do this, you have to have a bit of an idea of what you're moving towards and kind of what you want to achieve in your life. And, you know, you have to be almost like tied to a why and to a purpose. If you don't know, for example, if I didn't know that what I want is to be reliable, then I'd struggle to decide that I want to take the action that makes me a reliable person. And that has to be a commitment and a decision that you are staying true to what you've decided for yourself. So that's like a whole process in itself. But for anybody that's struggling with this decision, and if you have done that inner work already, I think this can be a really helpful tool. If you do want to work with me further, I am running a live workshop in Birmingham in September. The link will be below if you do want to book onto that. Also, my programs will be launching very soon, and I do one-to-one coaching as well. So if you did want to work with me further, one-to-one, that's the right way of saying it, then the link will be below as well. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.